Hey everyone, this is Tony Reeves. If you like my content or have any suggestions, please let me know. And by all means, make sure you share. The only way I can get my word out is if you help me get the word out as well.
Please join me in welcoming Brother Anthony Reeves as our speaker.
I want to talk to the brothers a little bit about something that's near and dear to my heart, about what it means to be an alpha. Now, I can tell you, almost every one of us, we all know what it means to become an alpha. I guarantee you that if you ask any one of us in terms of our personal journey, we can rattle off right out of the gate the things that we knew we needed to do in order to become an alpha. But the reality is that once we became alphas, that's when the true work of alpha truly began, which leads me to the fact is that when you become an alpha, there are certain realities that become very real to you. And I really want to make sure that what I'm speaking about today, I want to gear this towards some of my younger brothers. And what I mean by younger brothers, younger in terms of your years in the fraternity and younger in terms of my undergraduate brothers. So today I want to take a couple of minutes to talk to you about what does it mean to be an alpha in terms of the three realities of being an alpha man. The first reality is what I call the alpha expectation. And for those brothers who are sitting here going, no, I know alphas expect us, we expect each other to be all that in a bag of chips. No, that's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about the community's expectation of being an alpha. I guarantee you, if you haven't had this opportunity yet, go to an area that you've never been to before, whether it be you moving there, you're going there for a short time period and so forth. If there is any presence of people of color there, if they see you with a shirt on, a license plate, or even a placard on your wall, and they see Alpha Phi Alpha, they're going to tell you everything that alphas are doing in the community. I mean, they're going to literally run up to you and say, let's do this. Did you know that the brothers do that? And for my younger brothers, I know you probably can't believe this. I try to look as young as I can, but I'm from the pre-social media, pre-internet period of time where in order for brothers to find brothers in different areas, we had to get on the phone and call. But the reality is that brothers knew how to find brothers in different areas. But what you're going to find is when you come into different geographical areas, people will tell you how to connect with the brothers in the area. As if we don't have websites or apps or social media. They'll be actively saying, oh, you're an alpha? Do you know brother such and such? I'm from Florida for the last 30 years. And when I got to Dover, literally within the first week, when I put an alpha sign on my desk, somebody walked up to me and said, do you know Brother Fleming? And I'm like, I just got here like 2 days ago. But they were so excited about letting me know that there were brothers in the area. So you have to understand that there is a community expectation of greatness when it comes to you being an alpha man. So there is the community alpha expectation. And that's a reality first, which leads me to my second reality, the alpha experience. When you're a part of this organization, there are going to be varying parts of your life where the experience that you have with it is going to evolve over time. That doesn't make you more of a brother or make you less of a brother. It makes you a real brother because we all experience things differently. And what ends up happening with regards to the alpha experience is that it can be bunched into three separate categories. The first one is your personal experience. Brothers, let's be real. We all got bills to pay. Some of us are married. Some of us have kids. Some of us have problems with our jobs. Some of us have problems in our community. And what sometimes happens over time, unknowingly, we remove alpha out of our life in terms of experiencing those things. The reason I share this is because I'm going to put a brother on the spot here, and I hope he won't be offended by doing so. And if so, I'm going to have to ask for Brother Oni to pray for me because I'm going to call out Brother Reverend Dr. John Moore. And a couple of days ago, we had a meeting, and he shared with us the fact that his oldest brother had been called to glory to the highest level to do work for the Almighty. Now, let's be clear about one thing, my brothers. He didn't have to share that. That could have been information he could have kept to himself. And brothers, we do that all the time. We have things that go on in our life, and we have decided that in our life, we're going to deal with those things alone. But Brother Moore didn't do that. He shared that information with the brothers. And you know why he did? Because from a personal standpoint, Alpha is a part of his personal experience. I guarantee you there's probably quite a few brothers here who've had brothers in their weddings, brothers who are godfather or pseudo uncles to their kids, brothers who they reached out to when it came time to find a job. And those are brothers that you have decided that you want to ensure they're part of your experience. And so it's important to remember that as you start going through life, that it's important that you don't let Alpha become a distant part of your experience, which then segues me into the second part of it. It's what I call the NeoPro or the undergrad-grad experience. What ends up happening is anytime you get into the organization, anything new, you're excited, you're pumped up. And as a neophyte, it really is magnified. But over time, like everything, that enthusiasm goes down. It doesn't mean you don't like the organization any less. It just means that over time, you've gotten into a rhythm and the excitement level goes down just a little bit. Think of it like when you purchase a car. You're excited with the new car smell when you got it. 5 years later, you're thinking about it's time for me to move in a different direction. Doesn't mean you don't like the car. It's just that over time, that enthusiasm level goes down. And then this is the other thing that I would also challenge to my undergrad brothers. Moving from undergrad to graduate life. And I know the fraternity has been aggressive about this in recent years, but I can tell you as someone who came out and pledged as a sophomore, and then my senior year, I can be the first to tell you, transitioning into the alumni ranks was terrifying. When I went to my first chapter meeting was at Tallahassee, Florida, and I can tell you the youngest brother in the room was me. The next youngest brother was about 40 years of age. Now, I can't speak for my younger brothers because I'd like to believe you've evolved well beyond where I was back then. But I can tell you as a 22-year-old brother going to a chapter where the youngest brother was 40, I wasn't talking about 401ks. I wasn't talking about getting married. I wasn't talking about kids or anything like that. My first thing out of my mouth was, where is the club and when is ladies' night? And I can say that because I was at a place where every brother in the room was not where I was. And it took me about a good 5 years to feel that I could be in the environment with brothers and have something that I could relate to. But the reality is my brother, is that when you come in as a young brother, there are older brothers who have accumulated so much experience, they're just looking to give it away. They want you to come to them and ask them those questions. And even if you don't know what questions to ask. Whether it be your professional ranks, your personal ranks, whether you should stay in the area, whether you should maneuver outside of the area, there is a wealth of knowledge available to you. So never feel that you're in a scenario where you cannot relate to the brothers, because guess what? We were all in our teens and our 20s once, and we all are making mistakes along the way, and we want to make sure that you learn from those mistakes as well. Which also brings me to my last part of that, which is what I call the CDR, which is chapter, district, region. Your experience in Alpha is going to be based on where you came into the fraternity. If you came into the fraternity at a chapter that was rocking and rolling, regrettably and not so regrettably, you're going to compare every chapter to that experience. And if you came into the chapter in a bad experience, every chapter you go to is going to be based on that experience. And I can tell you, as someone who spent over 28 years in Alpha South, coming to Dover was my first time ever going to another region other than Alpha South in terms of living and being. And I can tell you, after speaking to President-elect Lonzer, he and I were speaking about this, and he was telling me of a similar experience he had going from Alpha East to Alpha Midwest. You're going to find that the cultures are different. The brothers are dynamic. The brothers are just as caring, but the culture is going to be a little different. Does it mean it's bad or worse? No, it's different. So it's important for you to understand, and it's powerful for you to understand, that when you are making your move to different areas and so forth, that your experience in Alpha should be measured not by only your experience of how you came in, but the reality of that, of realizing that we are such a diverse and dynamic group of men that your experience in those areas may be different. Which leads me to my last point, of the three realities. As I indicated, the first one, of course, is alpha expectation. My second one is the alpha experience. Then the third one, the one thing they mention when you're coming in, but they really don't hit home until you become an alpha. It's the alpha work ethic. And what the alpha work ethic is, quite frankly, alphas don't get a day off. I'm sorry, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. They didn't share that with me. I thought I knew when I first came in, but alphas, they don't get days off because guess what? When you're out in the community and something happens, the first thing people ask, what are the alphas gonna do? If something bad happens, first thing that's happened, what are the alphas gonna do? They ask that because of the fact that we have a 114-year history of bringing in a particular caliber of brother. And let me be the first to tell you, if you haven't figured it out already, and you should know, if you're in the house, you are Martin Luther King. You are Jesse Owens. You are Thurgood Marshall. Those brothers are not revered because they did something special. They're not special because they are the alpha norm. And if you're in this house, you're the norm as well. So for my brothers, allow me, as I conclude, to share with you my last parting thoughts for you. And please, I'm getting old now, so my memory's not the best in the world. So I'm going to read this out to you if I'm so inclined. My brothers, allow me the opportunity to say, being an alpha is hard. Only the hardest man can be an alpha. Being a brother means we want to go through the experiences with you. And just to be clear, if you ever feel like we're being hard on you, is because we expect greatness. Because outside of the house, greatness is the exception, but in the house of alpha, greatness is the norm. And as we all know, and we've said countless times before, not all great men are alpha, but all alphas are great men. Thank you, brothers, for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. 06 and happy Founders Day.